First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises to the Most High and His Son, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Towards. Double honors to the Apostles of the Greatmillstone, and salutations to the Yakim out there that continue to further this ministry throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to those that are learning and listening and growing thereby as well. It's the brother Monica coming at you with another lesson for today. And I'm on this website called theconversation.com. And before I read this article, I just want to address a couple of things in saying, we're living in some beautiful times. And as well as it looks depressing, the world it is, we don't really care because we're not necessarily of this world. We're of a world which is forth to come. As the scripture says, in this world we have no continual dwelling place. So this world has nothing to do with the nation of Israel right now, such as who we are, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We have no place in this world, so we don't really care about the estate or the affairs of this world. This is why you will never see, especially among the members of Greatmillstone and those that believe in the Greatmillstone doctrine, which is nothing but the full truth. We don't go out there and protest and set up silly little placards out there and protesting that we want to see a change of this world. We have a change coming, and the change is after the scriptures. The change is that Yahawah is going to make his second return, and he's going to set the saints above and beyond every nation that is upon the face of the earth, and that they will rule in righteousness. And that's going to be the change, the real change. But the change that people are protesting about and thinking about is not the change which is written in the scriptures. So what people believe and what they think is just nothing more than their devices. But as it says in the book of Proverbs 19:21, it says, there be many devices in a man's heart, but the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. So what's within the counsel of the Lord? That's what we care about. So speaking of that, I want to read 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, beginning with verse 7 all the way down to verse 9. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held the first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we're in the end of Esau's world. Literally, we are at the end of Esau's world. And I have this article dealing with oppression among the youth. And it's just not just the youth that are depressed, but also older people are depressed and have mental issues as well. All right, and this is mainly a problem among so-called white people, more in particular. All right, because the world has changed. The world which was, when they were blessed and they were living the good life, they were able to travel to different parts of the earth and beautiful places around the world, while Jake was just struggling and working for paycheck to paycheck. They can't do that anymore. Now they're being told to stay indoors. And then you have America, which I remember the elder Malcolm was going into it, and he was talking about how 97% of the earth is actually banned from Americans. So these devils, their freedoms are now under great restrictions. And that's what adds to the mental health among these Edomites. And especially among the youth. The youth have always had plans and dreams to pursue in this life. But now they know in their spirit, based on what they're seeing, that there's basically no life in this world. There's no future here. And when you know that there's no future in the world that you only see and believe in, you will falter under depression. All right? Because you know that there's nothing coming for you. Now I want to read the scripture in the book of Ecclesiastes 12, verse we're going to read Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1, it says, Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun, or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grind the seas, meaning there's no work, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, which is basically saying that there's no future. So when you're a young man at the age of 17, 18, early 20s, and you're looking at the world for what it is, and I mean, you better believe the youth nowadays have access to great amount of information because of the information age we're in right now. So they're seeing everything that's going on, and it's basically deteriorating their spirit, because these young people have plans, they have dreams they want to pursue. With that being said, we're going to come back to this article, and we're going to read what's within this article. So it says, youth anxiety and depression are at record levels. Mental health hubs could be the answer. The COVID pandemic has shown a light on the ongoing decline in young people's mental health. Psychologists have warned if we don't start to address the mental health emergency of youth people, anxiety and depression, it may become a transgenerational disaster. Pediatricians have said they are seeing growing numbers of young people coming to the emergency room because of a lack of other treatment options. In an effort to address the rising rates of anxiety and depression in children, Victoria trialed mental well-being coordinators in 10 schools last year. The initiative is now expanding to 26 primary schools in 2021. And the reason more so why the youth are today have anxiety levels, because you have a lot of psychological operations. There's so much going on in this world where it unstabilizes your soul. And so how much more the younger people out there, you know? But the ultimate reason why people are depressed, not just the youth, but also adults, because we're simply are at the end of this world. And this world is the Roman Empire coming back all over again, which will be loose for a little season and then go into perdition. And that's what's going on. We're at the end of that little season of this dragon, this beast. And then it will go into perdition. In other words, nuclear destruction. So let's move forward. Let's get another scripture here. And let's read the book of Matthew 24. Verse 1. And Yahawah went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came unto him for to show him the building of the temple. And Yahawah said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So now let's get all the way down to the point. Actually, you know what? Let's read verse 3, and then we'll get down to the point. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the signs of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahawah answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And that's what you have amongst the Muslims. That's what you have amongst the Christians. You have billions of Muslims, and as well as you have billions of Christians, and also billions of those that are worshippers of the Roman Catholic Church that are involved in Catholicism. That's what I wanted to say. So yes, indeed, the prophecy of Yahawah came to pass, that many shall be deceived by false religious leaders that are today. All right, so let's continue to read on. It says, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and seeing that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, and the end is not yet. So it says, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places. So let's read verse 6 again. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, seeing that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass. things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So in other words, what you have is you have Iran and Israel going at it. And these different news stations keep providing you with information about what's going on with these two countries, and it's not good. And then you also have America and Russia. They have their own little problems, and even China. Okay? And every time you read about the relations of America and China, and even including Russia, is all negative. And it's all relation to this up-and-coming Third World's nuclear war. And this is what we're seeing today. Moving forward, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And we're living in a time of pestilence, which Esau will throw out there to the people. The real pestilence. As we keep hearing about these new variants, like viruses are supposed to just come one after the other. When a plague comes every 100 years or so. Okay? But I'm not going to go into it, man, because if I go into it and I say certain words, they might very well just take this video down. So I'm not going to go into that anyway. So anyway, let's read verse 8. It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward and I'm going to get the book of Luke 21.